everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Now that our little guy is starting to nap a little bit better, I actually have some time to pop on and do some Facebook Lives again. So today I wanted to come and talk to you about some really exciting recent research that is showing that our genes may actually influence how well our genes fit, meaning that our genes can determine the type of diet and exercise that works best for each of us. So I think intuitively we kind of know this. Obviously, there isn't one diet or exercise program that works for everybody. If there was, then the diet and exercise industry wouldn't be as huge as it is. Some people do great with a paleo type diet. Other people actually need to have more carbohydrates and will gain weight if they cut back on them too much. Some people do really great with high intensity interval training. Other people need to do lower intensity, like lower weights with higher number of repetitions in order to lose fat and build muscle. So it can be really tricky. I see a lot of people in my online groups and that come in to see me in clinic who are really frustrated because they are trying so hard to exercise and eat well, and they're just not seeing the results that they'd like to. So this opens up a whole window to explore of why that may be the case. So thank you so much for tuning in today. For those of you that are watching the replay, my name is Dr. Jennifer Hessler. I am a naturopathic doctor and now a mom of 4. Craziness. And I am passionate about helping women to more easily incorporate healthy eating, time efficient and effective exercise, as well as other elements that are really important in order to live a healthy lifestyle. So like I said, today I'm going to discuss a little bit about how your genes can influence the ideal diet and exercise program for you. Back in November, I attended the Ontario Association of Naturopathic Doctors Convention, and while I was there, one of the speakers was Dr. Natasha Turner, who is a naturopathic doctor that's quite well known, and she discussed summarized a lot of what the recent research was saying about this topic. So that's where some of my notes are coming from. So what does this all mean? Well, there are some genes that actually affect how you metabolize nutrients. So one of them that's talked about a little bit more frequently is called adiponectin. Adiponectin is a hormone that affects your blood sugar regulation. It also affects how you break down fat. So people who have less adiponectin can actually be more likely to develop things like type 2 diabetes and to more easily gain weight. Adiponectin is something that's helpful in higher numbers, and stress is something that can suppress it. So stress is a whole other discussion about how the stress in our lives can differently affect genes in different people. So the other big hormone is leptin. Leptin is a hormone that helps us to break down fat and that influences the size of our fat cells. So resistance to leptin is something that's caused by obesity. So the larger somebody gets, the easier it is for their body to continue to increase body fat because they don't produce as much of this leptin, or because their body becomes resistant to it. It just doesn't listen to it anymore. Other things that affect leptin are elevated stress, also eating frequent meals. So people who don't have as much leptin will sometimes do better with something like intermittent fasting because they're not eating as frequently then, and it allows their body to produce more optimal leptin levels. Also, eating different genetic mutations can affect what your expression of leptin is. So depending on how much we have, it will determine how fast your metabolism works and also what your cravings are like, how easily you crave foods. There are a bunch of other different genes. I won't talk about all of them, but they can affect your appetite, how quickly you feel full after eating a meal, as well as how strongly you crave things like fat and sugar and how often you want to snack. And then other genes can lead to increased cholesterol. So that's why some people, it's not just about a diet. They can be eating a healthy diet and still have elevated cholesterol levels. How easily you gain weight from eating carbohydrates, and also, like I mentioned before, whether you're at an increased risk for developing type 2 diabetes. So there are also genes that determine how your body responds to exercise. And this is probably, well, equally as frustrating for people as the diet piece. So there's one gene called INSIG, not InSync like the boy band, but INSIG, INSIG, and it is produced by insulin, which is something that is really important for your blood sugar regulation, and it determines how you respond to strength training. So one variant of the gene will actually gain fat with high intensity interval training, whereas the other variant will do really well with it. So the one that tends to gain fat would do better with doing lower weights and higher repetitions of them than sticking to high intensity interval training. There's another gene that codes for a protein that affects our fast twitch muscles. So people who have one variant are really good at sprinting, and their body responds really well to that type of exercise. People who have the other variant actually will not have a lot of stamina to be able to sprint. I think I'm one of those people. And when they do that type of activity, they will actually increase inflammation in their body and have very poor muscle recovery. So it's not going to be a helpful form of exercise. So I could go on and on talking about the genes, but really most people want to know, well, what can you do? One thing you can do is actually order one of those genetic testing kits like 23andMe. You can just go online. I'll post the link in the comments if you want to check it out. I recently ordered a kit for myself because I'm curious to see what my results will show me when I interpret them. It's fairly inexpensive. You have to do to get the whole health profile. You also have to look at your ancestry. So the combined kit is about $200 right now. There's a sale on for the month of January. So that's a really good way to get some objective information. You will likely need some help interpreting the results. There's a database that I can utilize, and then I can use that to develop the ideal diet, exercise, and supplement program based on those results. And there are a variety of supplements that can help, things like acetyl L-carnitine, casein, L-carnosine, but it's important to remember that whether or not they work for you is going to be dependent on what type of gene variant you have. So that's why it is really helpful to have the results and then be able to work with that. So I would love to answer any questions you have about this. I think it's a really, really exciting topic, and I think it's something we're going to be learning more and more about in the time to come. For those of you that are interested, I do still have a few spots left for my 30-day program called Your Best Life. The next group starts on Monday, February the 5th, and in that group I do give 5 weeks of meal plans. They are generally tailored to be what I call paleo-ish, which means a higher protein, higher fat, and lower carbohydrate percentages. However, I do give many modifications to adjust them. So if you're eating a certain way and it's not working for you, here's what you can do to modify this meal to make it higher carb or higher protein or vegetarian or whatever your needs may be. And all of the meals already are gluten-free and dairy-free to begin with, so that's not a concern. In addition to that, I post daily about a variety of health-related topics, everything from how to improve your digestion, what supplements are most important to consider, how to improve your sleep, what you can do to get more energy, my tips to help you be able to meal plan and prep effectively on your own. I take feedback from the group, so anything that they're interested in learning about, I will try and make a post about that. So like I said, there still are a few spots left. I will post the comment. If you're thinking about joining, please don't wait because the opportunity won't last for too much longer. And I would love to have you be part of this fabulous group. So thanks so much for listening, everybody. Have a great day. And please post any comments that you have or any questions, and I am happy to get back to you. Thanks so much. Bye.